colleague. There was another email that where I got, I think it was from Deshi. Yeah, I'll look at that. We'll answer your questions as we go to specific questions. But I got an idea, especially of that graph. Very, very interesting. We'll see how to address it. All right. In the meantime, let us start with the generic items. And do we have interest in multiple choice question? Perhaps we can go that way.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay, colleagues, can you give me just 3 minutes? I just need, I've been speaking a lot. I just need to grab my lemon quickly. One moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, Beck, let's quickly look at an example of a multiple choice question then. Just click add. It's taking long. Okay, it's here finally. Okay, let's label this one perhaps question 1. Okay, let us remember, let us take note that the labeling, the numbering of the question will be taken care of by the system. When we say question 1, question 2 is just for ourselves, because when those questions will appear to students, they will be scrambled or they will be reshuffled, so they won't appear in the same order that you are putting them. But the system will not even display this label of question 1. That's just for you, for you. Okay. While we are at it, okay, let us take note. Multiple choice questions, we don't add things like all of the above, all of the below, and so on and so on, things like that. We don't practice such, because the choices will also be shuffled. Now, if you make one of the choice to be, or if you make it all of the below, for example, and then that point all of the below will now appear in letter E, I mean in letter D, then you see it will not make sense anymore. So we have to avoid those things of all of the above, the two above, the two below. No, we don't practice such. In actual fact, they are not recommended assessment practice. Okay, we start with the simplest one, which following.
Mr. Nona, while you are typing, can I ask quickly, can I copy and paste from another document, from a Word document, and paste it on here?
Yes.
If I have pre-prepared questions.
Yes. You can do that. It only has some implications. I've seen in languages yesterday, there was a scenario which we realized the issue came as a result of copy and paste. And was it a field in question? I think it was a field in question. And because it was a copy and paste, yeah, but let me not confuse, it's really unique to that subject perhaps, but to a larger extent, it doesn't have a problem. You can copy and paste. So which of the following is a capital city of Botswana? Suppose it has 1 mark. Then you see shuffle within choice, very important. It's already selected by default. This is another counter cheating. I'll point out all the counter cheating aspects, just so that we understand when things are properly set up, the system is really to a fair extent, it can really counter cheating. Doctor? Okay.
The colleague that said something now that cut and paste. That is
Sorry?
what, I mean, one colleague was asking whether she can cut and paste on this section. Are you hearing me? Yeah, I believe that like the one we are about to embark on now, to me, it seems as if it's consuming time. Like you can set up the questions together with the answers. As we were taught here, you can upload everything in bulk and it goes straight with your answers. So I wouldn't know whether you know about that, so that you also explain it so that I can also get full understanding. I know how to do that one quite all right, but I also know how to do it one by one, as you wanted to explain now. So that because, let me give an example. Maybe over the weekend, you are at your house, there's no network. You can set your multiple choice questions on web, and then you take it in bulk and upload. You see now, And it goes straight. When we are taught here, I couldn't believe it. And it's working like magic. So,
Yeah, thank you. Mhm.
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. Colleagues, indeed, Doc is correct. There is a way where you can, for multiple choice questions, and I think, is it multiple choice and true or false questions, they can be uploaded from a Microsoft Word. But what we have seen in the past, what experience is telling us is that it's a little bit technical, and the colleagues would do mistakes, and then they would even be frustrated when they have to start from the scratch. Because you need to save a file in a specific format. You need to type it in a specific format, strictly. Any single mistake by a comma or by whatsoever, you upload it, it messed up, you need to start over. That's why we thought, because of the past experience, some colleagues were trying it, and they have to get frustrated because they have to start over and stuff like that. We thought, well, maybe let the colleagues instead copy and paste, like the colleague is asking here. Perhaps you can, if you already have it in Microsoft Word, copy and paste would probably be ideal. But take note that in a Word document, you would probably have it in a format whereby the ABC would be here. Take note that we don't put the ABC here, okay? Don't put the ABC in this context. The ABC will come down here, okay? So like in this case, the capital city of Botswana, okay, we want capital letters to be shown to students. Then we would then say the first choice is perhaps Windhoek. Because it's wrong, we keep none at grade. The second choice perhaps is Lusaka. And then it's none because it's wrong. The third choice perhaps the correct one. And then we put 100% because it's a right answer. The fourth choice might be put Rwanda. And you put none because it's wrong, okay? Now take note, because we shuffle the answer, the choices rather, for student one, let me just save it and preview it. You will notice that Rwanda was the last thing I added, but it appears now in A. Take note that on the system, the answer here is not, the answer is not B, the answer is Gaborone. That's what the system takes. So Gaborone can be at D for student one, it can be at A for student 3, it can be at C for student 5, but Gaborone is the answer. So if the student, yeah.
Maybe if I can just ask a question here. You see, with these options, sometimes you put in this all of the above, you know, as an answer, as one of the options in those ones. Now the problem is, if you shuffle them, then all of the above is probably A, you see, and then B, C, and D is the options of that. But say, for instance, all of the above. Or sometimes you would want to say option A and B as one of the options, but then the shuffling becomes a problem because when it reflects for the students, it doesn't serve the purpose for which the question was. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So how do you get around that? Do you just leave out the shuffling option, or what do you do?
We don't recommend you making use of all of the above. It's not a recommended assessment practice. Don't.
Why is that?
Don't. It's not a recommended assessment practice. Maybe it's another story to go into the why, but it's just to say it doesn't work here. For the very same reason you just indicated, that when the options are shuffled, then it will be scrambled, then it will not make sense.
But if you leave out that option of scrambling or shuffling, will it still be the same? Will it still have the same effect?
It won't have the same effect, but you need to weigh now. Put on a scale would you rather leave on the shuffle? Would you rather leave them shuffled and you maximize on keeping cheating, or would you rather have your questions have that option of all of the above conveniently, and the student can easily cheat just so that you can have it? You need now to put on a scale and weigh and they make the best option.
Okay, that's fine. But my other question is there any other tools on Moodle where that option of all of the above or a mixture of A and B, that kind of a thing can be used?
Yeah, the only option where it can be used is when you are avoiding shuffling this question.
When you avoid shuffling.
Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
Nona, let's assist you here to respond to our colleague. I think some of the best options, because I made that mistake as well when I did that. So what you do is you could probably say no, none of the responses indicated are correct or something, or you could say all responses correct. So I think it's basically the use of language that you use to indicate all of the above or none of the above. So you can still have that option, but instead of saying above, none of the above, or all of the above, maybe you just use different language to indicate that all responses are correct or none of the responses are correct.
Okay, I think we have another option that I'll look at it shortly. Let's just add another question there. Let's quickly add another multiple choice question here. I don't know why they take long to bring the settings. Come on now.
Mr. Onona, while we are waiting for the settings to come, under category, so we don't do anything at category. Did I miss that? Did you say something about that?
Category, where?
Yeah, you know where you are adding the multiple questions? Yes.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay, this category has to do with question bank. And yeah, because of the timing that the time resources we have, we were really not going to address the question bank right now. But perhaps if time allows, we will address it. So this is a category of the question bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would select which question bank would you want this question to go. But let's talk more about it later. Okay. Let's take question 2, for example, and let's say which of the following animals are mammals? Select all that applies. Okay. Now, correct this. You notice the last part of the statement of the instruction. Select all that applies. Now, this can be another way to address all of the above, and you see, if you want the student to, yeah. So that means you want to test them in more than once. I hope this can, to a larger extent, help with those type of questions. Okay. So at this point, one or multiple answers, then you have to select multiple answers allowed. Okay. So you allow multiple answers, and you can still shuffle within choices. It's fine. I would strongly recommend this one is counter cheating. And then, okay, standard instruction here, you leave it out. It's not significant. Then let's start with what's the question? Mammals, right? Maybe I put tilapia. Then I put bees. Then I put 3 already. This is a third one. I put, maybe I put dog. Then I put cat. Okay, let's be very simple. I still want to have only 2 up to 4 choices. Then I know tilapia is wrong, so I maintain none. A bee is also not a mammal, so it's none. But a dog is mammal. I give it 50% because another 50% will go to cat. Okay. If I want to add more choice, I can click add more lines, and then I can add more choice if it's necessary. Okay. And then we have it. Then we save. So if you preview this question, the student will have a chance to select. Yeah, but you would need to select. You need to indicate select. You can also say, you see, select all that applies very, very open. Eh? It doesn't give a clue, but you can also make this question more light by saying select 2 that applies. You can edit this question and say select 2 that applies. And then the student will need, that will be very specific now. The student will know that, okay, it's only 2. Maybe I'm not a very good student. Then I say cat. Well, I think a bee. Bees are also mammals. Yeah, I think to a certain extent that can help on that question then.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nona. I just want to ask, using that example that you've used, I see you have said 50-50. Is that an indication that with those multiple kind of options, for the student to get a full mark, you have to split the mark amongst the answers? So say,
Yes.
for instance, if you had 100, then it would have been,
Yes.
the system would have done a wrong calculation.
Yeah. It's you know you want the student to select 2 most. So
Yeah.
for every correct answer, they must be awarded 50%. Like in this context of this question, we only have 2 correct.
Yeah.
If they would have been 3, if for example, let me say at B here, maybe I put
humans.
Maybe I put human or cow. Then it would be 33%. Where is 33%? Yeah. It would be 33%.
For all 3, so that when the system calculates, it will be 1 mark.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let's have another question quickly. Do we have interest in true or false?
Yeah.
Okay. True or false is the simplest of all.
Mr. Nona, before we go on, editing the questions. If you pick up a mistake, you know, back to the multiple choice. Sorry to take you back.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you click to edit your question?
Okay, it's actually the same for all questions, ne? It's the same spot where you go for any question if you want to edit it. So let's just quickly work on this one, then we will edit it.
Okay.
All right. For true or false, let's put a statement here. Normally, you know, in a traditional way, you would put say whether the instruction would say whether the following is true or false. But on the context of Moodle, you wouldn't need to add that instruction. Okay, it will come natural or it will come by default. So you just need to put the stem of the question, like for example, we say whale is a mammal. So if a whale is a mammal, we just indicate that it's true here as an answer. That's it, we are done. Okay, forget about the feedback stories.
Okay.
And then you save. So if you preview it, you will notice that a whale is a mammal. Then the student need to select one. Is it true or is it false?
Mm-hmm.
But since we have indicated, let me just preview it. Since we indicated that it's true, did we say it's true? Yeah. Then the system will mark us wrong if somebody select false. Now back to the editing. Any question that you have already added and you want to edit it, you click on the setting, on the gear sort of icon. It's the same for every question.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat again?
Sorry?
Can you go over the true and false setting again?
Okay.
Just set another question.
Oh, to set another question. Okay, okay. I thought you said I should go to the settings.
No.
Okay.
Just to set a question as true and false.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, follow it up.
Okay, here we are.
Okay, question.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you mean I should just set another one? I thought you have a question in mind or so. Should I just, any random question?
You said I don't have question, but you can set.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
We know it's false. Then we save.
Thank you.
Is that fine?
Fine, very fine.
Oh, okay, great. Let's move to another question type, which is matching. Now, a matching question type, it's a very, it can be used for so many things. Okay. You see, when we are demonstrating here, because of our poor subject backgrounds, we tend to use the simplest example to accommodate everybody. But we want you not to be limited by the example we give. We want you to think really beyond this example. That's why I want to explain something on this type of question. You know, for simplicity, I can say match the following countries to their cities, for instance. But you could match anything, okay? You could match almost anything. You could match in engineering, if there is something like that, you could match problem to possible solutions. or problem to possible causes. Even in lesson, you could match perhaps some element to some prescriptions or medications. What do you think should be? You see, you can ask students to match. You can really elevate the difficultness of this question. It can really challenge students. Anybody who might take a chance, and I feel a student who will take a chance, well, they are just bad students. Any student who is generally taught they wouldn't want to take a chance, they would really want to give their best shot if they are asked to match. If they are given a scenario, it can be a full statement. In the example I'm giving here is just for simplicity and time, I am using the shortest words like country to cities. And take note, if I'm matching A to B, the questions, what comes to questions should be A, and the answer must be B, right? I hope you got it. If I'm matching A to B, then what comes in the questions is A, and what comes to the answer is B. So like in this case, if I'm matching country to cities, so what comes in the countries, what comes to the questions is the countries. And then what comes to the answer is the cities. So like number 2, let me just add more lines. You can add more lines, ne? If you have more lines to be matched. But I repeat, you could add a whole scenario here that need to be matched to a certain phrase or, yeah. Just waiting for more lines to come. Perhaps the 4th one. I need to repeat. Okay. So I save. You preview it. We have again the shuffling story. Again, this will be shuffled. For student 1, the list might start with, let me just try it again. Let me just preview it again and see. You see, every time I try it, it will start with a different country. Start with Zimbabwe, I cross. If I try it again, now it's starting with Japan. Okay, so this is another attempt to counter cheating. So they then need to select the countries, but don't take it like they can only take short word here. It can be a full statement here, and it can also be a full statement inside here. So you can be matching some, some scenarios or some situations to some solutions, or yeah, whatever the case may be in the context of your subject. This is just an example.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Unono, can you just open? Yes, I wanted to see that.
You wanted to see? What is it that you wanted to see? Can you go on?
No, I wanted to see when you choose what was. No,
Oh.
you've already I wanted to see when you choose one of the options, what was giving as the options, but it's fine. I managed.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I can see.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, Mr. Luna.
Mhm.
Now you have cleared the points. I would have agreed with you that you set another question on multiple choice and use the word none of the above, all of the above, so that by the time you preview, people will now see what you have explained. Why we don't support that choices of none of the above or all of the above. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah. We'll definitely do that later.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so here Shuffle should also just be here for the questions. All right, so we add another question, and the next one is short answer questions. Now, short answer questions is also one of the, let me just click add. One of the most undermined. Okay, so the short answer questions, I wouldn't add several short answer questions. I will use the same screen for several scenarios. Ne? So I want us to just pay attention on this one. Maybe 6, I don't know. Okay, it can be used in different scenarios, and yeah, I just want us to make use of the same screen for different scenarios here. Let's say, for example, one want to ask oh, too much with the capital cities, ne? Let's try another. Think of a question with the simplest one.
Let's help you. Okay, maybe you can ask, why does an interviewer use probes?
Okay, I want to know the answer. Is the answer one word or 2 words?
No, the answer is to clarify ambiguous or irrelevant responses to questions. That's the answer.
Okay, I want a scenario of a question that would require a one-word answer.
Okay, a one like similar to fill in the missing words or what?
It's just one word, word, a question that have only an answer which is made up of one word.
Okay, let me give you a social arrangement in which men dominate women. The answer is patriarchy. A social arrangement in which men dominate women.
Is it what do we call or how do we call?
Yeah, okay, fine. What do we call a social arrangement in which men dominate women?
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Now, the answer is part 3. You know, I'm a man, I wouldn't know the answer, right?
This is P-A-T-R-I-A-R-C-H-Y. Patriarchy.
Patriarchy.
P-A-T-R-I-A-R-C-H-Y.
Ooh.
Okay, let me start. P-A-T-R-I-A-R-C-H-Y.
Okay, thank you. All right, so in this case, this scenario, remember I indicated we use, I will not save and go back because it will be to consume a lot of time. But I just want us to take note, if it's a one word like this, and you indicate case is not important, then it's fine. You just indicate 100% here to say this is the answer. Yeah, so, and this is the simplest. If the answer is just one word, it's quite simple. You use short answer question type of question, and you just get this. You just indicate whether it's case sensitive or not, and that's it. But let's take another example. Let's take another example. Who was the first president of Namibia? Okay, if you have such question and you try to say, well, Sam Nujoma is short answer questions, right? Then you realize later that there can be trouble, because if we say that the answer is Dr. Sam, might be, is it
Shafishuna.
Is it one
Nujoma.
like this?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you want to write it His Excellency. Normally, Excellency is written with big letter. Eh? Okay. Now this is a correct answer. You now have you need a lot of time to exhaust all possible correct answer. So, because apparently the student who also end up writing without His Excellency is also 100% correct, isn't it? Another student who will write might be His Excellency Dr. Nujoma, Dr. Sam Nujoma without Shafishuna is also correct, isn't it? You can imagine how many lines you need to add more lines to exhaust, and it will become too much. For that reason, if you have a question that fits in this scenario, that question just put it on essay type of question. Unless if you really have enough time to, if you really have enough time. I hope you are noticing the two scenarios that I put forth so far. One word is quite simple. But the moment you have, if you have two words and you know that there's no room for another, if it's just two words, it's also simple. But the moment you have a scenario whereby like the first question that the colleagues try to give me, then it will be written, it will have many ways. You can't really exhaust the possible correct answers. If, for example, you say, let me give you another scenario. Maybe, I don't know, it's not a universal question, but I'll use it. Three states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. I hope you will be able to apply the scenarios in your own context. Now, if you look at this question, you might really think, well, this is a simple short answer question, but you need to exhaust now. What if another student write without commas, but they put space? They correct? Yes, 100% can be said. Well, in terms of competence attainment, they know the three states of matter. But if you don't put it this way, they will be marked wrong. What if I start with liquid? Maybe liquid, gas, and the solid. Okay, what if I start with, so yeah, such scenarios, then you need to take note of, and then you need to find the appropriate questions that are fitting. I'm moving to the next scenario if there are no questions. Okay, the next scenario is in mathematics. If you would expect an answer to be an expression, I think I had scenario I used yesterday, so I don't thumb suck it because of time. Yeah, I think I like this. Take this. Two A plus 2B is 4B plus A. So then you know students need to collect like terms, blah, blah. Okay, so you know that the correct answer really would be, the final correct answer would be eventually would be A plus, what's the question? Yeah, A plus 2B. A is equal to 2B. That would be the answer. A equals to 2B. That would be the answer. Now in this, okay, you give 100% here, but you know that for some reason, some student might be not lazy, but they did not to grasp they did not to attain the outcome very well. They might only collect the like terms, and they end up saying, maybe they will end up saying is 2A minus A, which is equal to, collect the like terms, right? Which is equal to 4B minus 2B. 4B minus 2B. Then you can say, well, this person has gone some steps, but I think only give it, maybe if it is a 2-mark question, if they only end up here, if they just write it this way, then they will have only 50% of the mark. Right? Let me remove this one. So you can use it in mathematics as well. But if I want to caution that if you would want your student to show their work and it would be a lot of expressions, don't use a simple answer question for this in mathematics or in physics or whatever the course for calculations. Rather use essay type of question. If you would need a lot of steps, okay, involved, and you do want to see the steps, and those steps are worth some marks, okay, only use the short answer question if it's just really simple steps that are involved that you know, and they have taken care of it. For example, that if somebody only end up to this level, at least you have them covered. So we end with this scenario in this type of question. We save it. And yeah, if I put 2A minus A equals to 4B minus 2B. I just want to take care of this quickly so that it can show me the, it will tell me partially correct, okay? Because I have indicated that this can only be awarded 50%. Partially correct. marked out of 2. I think we have done justice to the essay, to the short answer question with number of scenarios. What is next?